is that I know this happens. I know what to do, right? If I lost some data, everything I have in my computer now is set up for autosave, by the way. If you're not using autosave, you are missing out a big opportunity. So yeah, here, you want your bonus content? I use Microsoft's OneDrive. I have a terabyte, and everything's on the OneDrive. And so like when this Zoom meeting finishes, it automatically saves to my OneDrive and starts automatically loading when I go to have lunch. So when I come back to lunch, right, I actually upload it to YouTube too, because I also want to put it there. And then I send you the links to it, but the other one is already uploaded. It's already done. And that, I mean, you can technically, I shouldn't say anything, but I have had laptops which got ran over by a car. This is a real story. I was teaching a program at a national park, and I'm like, went to go put my laptop in from where I thought it was into my bag and like charge it for the night. And I'm like, where is my laptop? And somebody helped me move some equipment. You know, when somebody's trying to help clean up and they're being helpful, like, oh, yeah, can I help you clean up, move some stuff? Oh, yeah. Well, turns out they put the laptop on my car and I didn't notice. So when I drove away from that, the laptop fell off the car and my car ran over it, or some other. I have this laptop, so it's got a tire print across it, right? We're laughing now. It wasn't funny, man. It wasn't funny.
No. It never is.
But I bought another laptop, and because I had another program, I had to go to literally fly to Taiwan. Remember when we could do that? And so I bought a laptop on Black Friday from Costco, and it's the laptop I have now. It's a full-size gamer laptop because I edit video. And I plugged it in, installed it, logged into OneDrive, and it started downloading 600 megabytes of data that I keep on the OneDrive. And that's it. If you put your stuff right, like my Outlook is on a server, right? I actually worked on the Microsoft Exchange team, the server that's holding all your stuff, right? And you can shoot a hole in a laptop, and then you can plug another one in, and if it works right, you plug it in and gets its stuff, and it starts downloading. And I lost nothing, except some time.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So if you're not set up that way, you're in big trouble. Hey, look at.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're all having to deal with crisis, and the word that I do have from my other friend who I talked about earlier says, you need to prepare for more.
We do.
The tip of the day, Anne, actually is possibly keep 2 to 3 months worth of supplies handy now. And I'm
Oh yeah.
I'm not a big stockpiler, but I'm gonna take that advice and fill up some closets, because I'll eat it either way. I don't really care. But he says in 10 days to 14 days, that objective may be way harder. We'll see. So
it's interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, it's everywhere, because I actually, my sister who's up in Seattle actually got married in Walla Walla just like a week or so ago. So we were up there, and I was like, well, let's see if they have toilet paper, because we don't have toilet paper down here. Yeah, no, there was no toilet paper in the Walmart at Walla Walla.
Hello, Kevin. How are you?
I'm very well, John. How are you?
Good. Oh my goodness. And we also, hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
So as you can see, look, Ann, you're so great. I have to rename myself now. Look. So your job is to rename yourself. You're getting the bonus material. You right-click on your face and you hit rename, and we're going to put your name and where you're calling from.
Okay.
And the company you work for.
All right.
Kevin, you missed the most exciting part of the day. Do you know what happened?
It wasn't the toilet paper story, was it?
No,
Worse.
sorry.
Even more scary. Do you want to know what it was?
Yeah, I do.
My computer blue screen 10 minutes ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, good, dude. That's so all right. Hopefully, you know what, Kevin? Hopefully we can just meet and hang out after this call, okay?
Sure, we can do that. Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a perfect time. So it's so great. I'm so glad that you're here.
Yeah. And hi, Ann. Good to meet you.
Hello.
Kevin, will you chat me your email address? Oh, you know what? I have it. I have it here in the report. Yeah. We've known each other since 2001?
No.
Andrew Gustafson, my coworker, put you in our database on 2001, January 8th. If you're the
Oh,
same Kevin Barrett, HJBCO, that I know you're not there anymore.
I worked for Getty Images back in those days.
Huh. Okay, maybe this is not you. All right, fine. Okay, whoa, lots of people
There's
coming
a
in.
few of us in town.
I'm glad that you're here.
Thank you.
Okay. Excellent. Steve, welcome.
Hello.
Steve is calling in from Washington, D.C. And if you want to add one more piece to your name, Steve,
Okay.
add who you work for at the end.
All right, will do.
Excellent. Pam, are you there? Oh, Pam disappeared. Marianne, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Bueller. Anyone know that movie? Bueller, anyone? Bueller. You know, the cool kids don't have that anymore, right? I get the reference. Okay, so you guys, it looks like some of you are old enough. I have a whole series of jokes where the Gen Xers laugh and the millennials go, huh? And they were talking about hipsters here in Seattle, you know, hipsters, right? And I said, oh, look, I got the original hipster movie. And they're like, okay, what is it? I said, Logan's Run.
Now that's
Kevin
a
laughed.
long time ago.
See? Good job. Ben, what's going on? Hello, Ben. Can you hear me?
Ben froze.
Ben, where are you calling in from?
What's happening?
Where are you calling in from, Ben?
Portland, Oregon.
Oh my gosh, fantastic. So, can you rename yourself? You can add Portland, Oregon, and your company. It's 12 o'clock, so I'm going to start, and then we'll get a chance to introduce everyone else. Thank you
I'm
so
not
much.
busy at all. I didn't want to do this one. I'll do a podcast, a web video.
Here we go. One more second. They need a few seconds here. I'm going to line this up onto Facebook here. So again, those who are logging in, hello, Gene. If you can right-click and change your name for this session to your name, where you're from, and your company, that will be the networking portion of today. And I just need to, I run this on Facebook Live. This session will be recorded and be put on Facebook Live, just so you know. And if you do not want to be on screen, then hide. Although the camera is a real benefit, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, we're almost there. Okay. Excellent. Okay, so now that is working. Excellent. My name is John Chen. I'm the CEO for Geoteaming. I'm going to mute the rest of you just for this opening session, just so that we have clear audio. And thank you for coming to virtual team building. I'm the CEO for Geoteaming. We specialize in corporate team building and leadership programs. And I'm the author of this book here, 50 Digital Team Building Games. I've been studying how teams work virtually for over 20 years. In fact, I actually took to a conference, an experiential conference, and remember 20 years ago when a webcam was like, what's a webcam, right? And we put them on two computers, we put people in different rooms, and we actually did a measurement of trust, and we were able to measure that people increased their trust by 20% on average, just for two people having a face-to-face meeting over video. And the audience I was with is like, they're little Birkenstocky, little face-to-face, and they were like, wow, that's possible? And now look where we're at. So I'm excited to meet each of you, and I'm excited in the next 60 minutes to show you some of the secrets about how your online meetings can be better, and most importantly, solve some of your challenges about increasing morale and engaging your teams. So let's get on with the show. Here we go. So one of the features I'm going to show you now is at the top of the screen is that you can see that I have live transcription. This is a feature. So I'm a big advocate of doing diversity and inclusion training. And so you have to think now in a different dimension for diversity and inclusion. Some people may have video. Some people may have mics and some of their audio is good or bad. Ann knows this as a fact. Some of them, might be just calling in on the phone. Some of them might be hard of hearing. And so this is another feature. In PowerPoint, it's built in. All you say is turn on captions before you present. And now you can see this live transcription during my PowerPoint slides. So this is in itself is a cool trick to do. Now, I want to show you why virtual team building works. So I just want to start with a little bit of the science around why experiential team building works versus just me talking to you for 60 minutes. And by the way, if you came here thinking that this is a webinar, you're wrong. You will be engaged through this whole part. Somebody gave me a great quote, and she said, at the end of this, she goes, wow, I have more energy rather than less energy after 60 minutes of a web call. So that's my hope and my promise to you. And for you, what you need to do is engage to be able to do that. Moving right along. So in this, I'm going to teach you here why experiential education works. It works better than the classroom. And then I'm going to give you this last part. And this last part is an assignment to you. If you want to get the most value out of this course, it says this: self-facilitating teams produce the greatest ROI. I'll say that again. Self-facilitating teams produce the greatest ROI. Now, let me just show you what I mean. The first part here is a chart. And for my data people who have been watching, like John Hopkins, coronavirus, or anything else, I got a joke when it says the amount of times I'm spending looking at exponential charts. And it was a chart that was going exponential. That was a joke. All right, so moving on, what you're seeing here is that this is a team. And here, this black bar with the black dots is saying, what is the team development score? And so this is saying, at the beginning of the program, the score is around 30, went to 41, and by the end was at 47 or so. And this says also that the team starts degrading afterwards if they don't keep it up. So the next piece here is the amount of time it takes, a complex task it takes for this team to complete. At the beginning, it was 45 minutes. Then it was 35, and then it got to 27. And if you do the measurement here, this means that a team that has working well as a team can do complex tasks faster. So if your work involves a collection of people, this is why you're here. You have the same amount of time, but imagine that you had more time because it's taking less time to do the things that your team is great at. So that's number one. Experiential education, it works. The second part here, this works better than the classroom. The X here, this is your control group. They did nothing. The dots, the circles here, they did a classroom, and after the class, they moved 10 points, and a week after the course, it went back. So has anybody ever had what I call shelfware? You took an awesome class, you were totally pumped up, and then a week later, you found the book and the binder on the shelf. If you did, raise your hand. Cool. Oh, there we go. Gene's done it, Ben's done it, Kevin's done it, and Steve's too cool, man. Steve's like, I studied, I got an A. All right, here we go. So this the part here is experiential. And so there's actually this part, why does it dip? There's actually pre-event anxiety for experiential events. Like if you ever had to do a ropes course or something, people are like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. They actually become worse teams. But after the program, this is a 77% boost in team development index. And its effect for this particular program lasted a year. But this is why I have this quote, and it says, team building is like software, right? Your team is like software. It needs constant and continual updates. So if you don't update your phone, you don't get update your computer, you don't get the latest options, you don't get the latest features. And so this is why you have to think about this, that your team stuff is a marathon. It's definitely not a sprint. It's not something I can fix in an hour. But if you take these principles, you can really do it. Because here is the goal for this program. The bottom here, control group does nothing. This group did a great team building event. These two groups did the team building event, but this one did nothing afterwards. Right? We had a great time. We do no follow-up. This team, it took about 6 months for them to drop back to zero. This one here, if you do follow-up, so like if you bought my book or if you like revisited this and did a little bit, you can retain about 80% of the gains. But here, this is what we call self-facilitating. And all you have to do is spend a little time after working with your team in a debrief saying what worked, right? There's 3 questions I usually ask. What, right? What happened? So So what does that mean? And now what? Now, how is this different? Now, what are we going to do differently? And by doing that, these teams are not only able to retain the gains from a professional team building program, they're able to meet and exceed it. And if you've ever been on or seen one of these teams, you know who they are, right? This is like Bad News Bears. We were talking about 80s references, right? You know, a team that doesn't look like it has the components. The American hockey team doesn't look like it has the components compared to the Russian team, but when put together, they can win. So that's the research behind what we're trying to do here. Oh, and now there's this little fact here too. This is a diagram of Zoom meeting attention span. So this is what normally happens on most Zoom meetings, right? You know, relief at seeing other human beings. Oh, has my neck always looked like that? I got to remove my cat from the keyboard. You know, so these are the challenges that you have if you're trying to engage your teams online. So let's look at the different ways that we can reverse that. So I have a solution, and it's kind of like how I feel now about coronavirus, right? I've had 10 face-to-face programs canceled, and that was a lot of revenue to our company. So my solution is in an acronym GRR, right? If you can pretend to GRR with me. So the first G is this. It's all about goals, right? Your team needs to redecide their goals. We've had the largest disruption to work known to humankind. And if you are operating on the same goals before a coronavirus, they might not even be valid. And the second part you're going to see today is you might think everybody is on the same page with their goals, but when they go to operate on it, people have totally different ideas about how to do that. So align and decide on what your team's key goals are. The next piece is rules, right? We all know the rules for face-to-face, right? How we come in, how we can chat beforehand, how we can have sidebar conversations. The rules have all changed, right? We're online. So if Ann wants to have a sidebar conversation with Kevin, if they start talking, right, we hear them and we're like, Ann and Kevin, can you mute please? And like if Steve's dog or kids come running in, you know, all the rules have changed. And so people are looking for certainty. If you're a leader in your organization, and by the way, you don't have to have positional leadership anymore. This disruption could be one of the greatest opportunities that you have. If you can show digital leadership, you can create the stability that your company needs, the certainty that it wants, and be seen upon as a leader. So rules. Next one is a rhythm. So you know when a place is out of rhythm, it sounds terrible and nothing happens. But when you get your team into a rhythm, right, everything becomes easier and your team can literally do exponentially more. So rhythm, your team's rhythm is something you should be looking at. Last but not least is results. So I am a huge car fan. I now own a Porsche Boxster. I've been watching all the F1 on Netflix, and look at this. When you have your goals aligned, everybody here knows their goals. When you have the rules, everybody here knows the rules of engagement, right? And you have a rhythm, you can do things like this. You can change all 4 tires, gas up a car, and do all sorts of maintenance in less than 2 seconds. And all I'm saying for you is look for your team's results. Anytime you guys get results, celebrate them, right? Because that's how you're going to figure out that you're going to get more in this totally new environment. So results. Okay. So my goal for the 60 minutes is to host a productive team meeting and establish the best team practices online. So that's what I'm assuming my goals are for you. And if you have a few more goals, well, I'd love to hear about them. So I'm now going to teach you your first team building initiative. And again, I told you in a face-to-face meeting, we can have sidebars, right, and things like that. But here in video land, it's not like that, right? And so what I've done a lot of times, and I actually invented this 20 years ago, so to deal with teleconference, right? When we couldn't see each other and you're asking a group to talk around it, 2, 3, 4 people group, I talked all the time. And so this really comes from my dream as to be a radio DJ, as I just used to love it, right? That Gene would call in and say, hey, this is Gene from San Francisco. And I'd be like, oh, go ahead, Gene, right? I just wanted to be that DJ, to be able to say that. And so this is why I call it go ahead caller. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to establish some rules. And the speaking rule is this: if you're visual, you can raise your hand. And by the way, for the 2 of you I see who don't have video, if you can turn on your video, please, we'd love to do that. And if you can't, I totally understand. So if you're visual, you raise your hand. Oh, hey, Marianne, good to see you. If not, chat or unmute and say your name. I will acknowledge all of you, and I'll establish some kind of order. And what I'd like you to talk about today. So now we can see almost everybody now. It's cool. I don't have to ask where you're from. I just want to know your name so I know how to pronounce it clearly. And I'd really like an example of challenges you're having with teamwork now. So for instance, I could say, hey, I'm John Chen, and I've got like all these 72-year-old teammates, and they've never been on Zoom, and they don't even know where the pause button is. So can you please help me? So anyways, that would be a great example. So hopefully you guys understand that. Now let's do this. Excellent. So let's meet everybody. Who would like to go first? Again, you can raise your hand or you can unmute and say your name.
I'll go first. I'm Kevin Barrett, and actually don't have a team right now. I'm a sole proprietor, and I, like John, have had all of my live training basically canceled between now and July. So I'm in the process of doing all kinds of things to try to keep my business running. One of which is I am working with some other colleagues. So I guess there is a little bit of teamwork that is going on there, and we're doing a lot of kind of trading back and forth PowerPoints and those kinds of things. So that's a little bit of a challenge to communicate that way. And we're doing Zoom calls and all that too.
Excellent. Thank you, Kevin. Have you ever used Zoom's side-by-side feature where you can edit two decks at the same time?
I have not.
Ooh, okay. I've never done it, so maybe we'll try today. All right. Thank you, Kevin. Who would like to go next?
This is Steve Donovan. Wanted to just check in on this program, as I have a team of we run a customer service team, and it's about 16 people, and it's 16 people who have never essentially worked from home. Our organization was very nimble in getting us all set up to work at home in a matter of about 3 days. And everybody was given a laptop a day before we all had to go home, and basically it was like, good luck. So the first week was very challenging. We're now into our third week, and so people have settled in a little bit better, but I have people all over the spectrum. I have some who are very tech savvy, and others who, are having a problem just using the trackpad on their laptop. So it's an adjustment for a lot of people, and just hearing how we can come up with ideas to keep people engaged, embrace the technology, and adapt to the environment of, being in an office where you had two big screen monitors and, your keyboard, your mouse, and now you're kind of drilled down to a small little laptop. So that's some of the challenges I'm faced with right now.
I just love that. I love that. Hey, here's a laptop and peace out, man. It's fantastic, Steve. I appreciate that. And let's go to Ben. I saw Ben on there. Oh, can't hear you. There you go. Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Good.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm a performance coach for the Portland Trail Blazers, and once the NBA stopped, it was a big catastrophe, right? And we were what I do is in person. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there going into the training space now, virtually. So my big challenge, I guess, is two things. I like to do workshops outside of just training my guys that are community driven. And so I'll have, let's say, up to 25 to 30 people come on that I don't know what they have ever experienced when it comes to Zoom or doing anything virtually. And so being able to corral folks is kind of like a big challenge, and just making sure people understand how to use the software. And then the other day I had a moment with my team where we had about 8 guys on, and not everybody knew how to actually use the software. Some people had it on their phones, some people had it on their laptops, some people knew what the mute button was. They could hear me sometimes, they couldn't hear me. So it's just making sure that, the next Zoom session that I have for our workshop and the next Zoom session I have for that actual workout runs a little smoother. So we'd love to kind of hear your thoughts on just how to get everybody on the same page, that rhythm, prior to actually going on a Zoom call. Maybe there's something I can send out. So that's kind of the challenge. Just everybody has the different levels. of expertise when it comes to software or technology.
So most of all, Ben, I think you're a friend of Kathy Armias, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah, she's your sister. She's my sister, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ben. And you have no idea the woman I'm dating is the world's biggest Trailblazer fan. You have no idea, right? So, and hopefully all the Trailblazers have stayed safe. And look at that news. You know, somebody made fun of it, and boom, he got hit. I mean, talk about karma, instant karma in the NBA. But it is devastating. I was a huge Sonics fan. So, hey, Ben, thank you for that. And let me just give you a quick example, right? This right here, Ben, which is I love the fact, number one, too, that Ben is not driving while trying to participate in this conference, because I'd be like, Ben, don't do it, man, don't do it. But I'm telling you, I got some stuff here. So watch this, ready? Hold on, there. This is without lights. I've got 2 LED panels in my place. I also, that turns on a humidifier. So I've got skin problems. So like being in my house in a 22% humidity starts to have problems. That I have this is a high quality mic. This is why I sound so good. It's not because I look so good, right? And so, and if, I was telling Ann at the beginning here, this is a video design backdrop. Everything is here for a reason, Ben, right? And I can show you the way. I actually have perfected, I believe, the first really good quarantine karaoke, and how you can actually involve and get into it, because there are lots of really bad setups. So thank you so much for that, Ben. Who else would like to go? Let's go to Marianne in Montreal.
Yes, so my name is Marianne, and first, I just want to say that my first language is French, so I'm not that good in English. Sorry, guys. So I'm a librarian, and one of the challenges that I live right now is that I'm kind of a middle manager. So the team that I manage are librarian clerks, so they can't work right now, but I have to keep a connection with them. So one of my tasks is to do team building and to continue to have that link with those people that aren't working. So it's kind of a crazy situation right now. So that's why I'm here.
Well, you know, you're all alone in this journey, Marianne. None of us are having the same issues. Sorry, I can't. Yesterday was April Fool's. I can't do that. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Marianne. And wait, how do I say thank you in French?
Merci.
Yeah? Okay. I definitely know bonjour. I definitely know bonjour. And I know French wine. Okay. Thank you so much, Marianne. Let's see, who else would like to go next? Let's go to Anne, and then we'll go to Jean. Oh, Anne, your audio is on mute. This is the fun part. There's a place you can play Office Bingo, Zoom Bingo, and one of the phrases is, oh, and you're on mute. Do you want to try again? Here, I'm going to unmute you. Okay, now try. Got it. Go. Uh-oh. Now your audio connection is terrible. Make sure that you're on your phone. Let's see. I got your phone. Try again. And I'm gonna take a minute to take a look at your setup. You may have to hang up and call again on your phone because we had that crash in the middle. And let's go to Jean, and then we'll go to Ted and come back to Anne. So Jean, go ahead. Jean,
can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, Marianne, I'm in exactly the same position as you are. I'm also a library manager, and unlike you, our techs are trying to work from home. We don't have all the software for them, but we do have a pretty good IT department behind us. But again, the main issue is bringing them together. We kind of usually work in a chain, and one person talks to person 2 and person 2 talks to person 3. So I wanted to see if I could learn something that would get a little energy going.
Perfect. Get energy going is what I heard you say, the number one thing. Thank you, Jean. Let's go to Ted. Ted, you're on mute too. I think he knows that. Ted is still on mute. Okay.
There we go.
Oh,
you guys
yeah,
hear me now?
Yes.
I'm the IT guy, so this is what I'm dealing with right now. But I'm not working from home, actually. I'm actually bouncing between my libraries, fixing technical issues, and then having my lovely Surface here answering all the questions I can get through Zoom or Slack or whatever. But my challenge is trying to keep everybody motivated. I like to say technical issues can't be solved by one person. So it's hard when they're at home, and when they're at work, I can say, hey, do this and do this and do this. And they're used to doing it. But when I get them home, oh no, what is that thingy again? What thingy are you talking about? The thingy on your desk that you used to point at, or? And she's not talking to me. She's talking to the kid who is running around on her mirror with like on her tablet, or I can see in the background with like an axe or something. I'm like, what? I'm like, you guys watching Vikings and without me or something? But my whole goal for but my whole goal is I want to learn how to team build virtually, but have fun doing it. Because I've been in like with other companies that are kind of lame when it comes to like team building. It's like, oh, we're going to do a book reading or something. What book? Something I've never heard of and have no interest in reading, and then get like a little survey or something to choose from. I'm like, okay, I'll read your book, but I'm not going to be happy about it. But that's why I'm here.
And I want you to be happy. And I used to work at Microsoft for a decade, so we know all the great jokes, right? You remember this one? Hey, so is your computer running under Windows? Oh, hold on a sec. Now it is. Now what do I do?
Oh, got it.
IT jokes.
And they would tell me, you have to ask, did you move your laptop under the window? They go, that's what you told me to do. I'm like, no, I asked you what windows you're using. Gosh.
I keep stepping on the pedal. Why won't it go faster? I'm stepping on the pedal, right? They're stepping on the mouse. Okay, Ann, let's see. Did you get your audio fixed? Oh no, it's painful. The audio bridge is broken. Try again. Okay, you can actually text your intro down. I can actually do like 90%. So the best part is that Ann called in earlier, and so she works at the library in Salt Lake County, and she's trying to help maintain morale and team connection when we're all working from different locations. They have some really cool stuff though. Make sure and go to the Facebook page for the Salt Lake County Library, and then she also is reading The Prince of Souls that was actually on her bookshelf. So. And we'll do that. If you can actually participate. If your audio part doesn't work, just go to the chat room. Jay, are you there? You're on mute.
Yes, I am.
Cool. Jay, wait, haven't you done this before or not?
Which one?
This
done
class.
what?
No,
I don't know. I just saw this online. I didn't know what it was and just popped in.
Perfect. So you're in a virtual team building session, and now you're part of the team. Okay. Okay. So introduce yourself, and after we're done, you're going to right-click on your name, and you're going to put your name, your location, and who you work for. But can you just do an intro? Just tell your name and what's a team challenge that you're working on.
My name is Jay Cicados. I'm from the Seattle area. Team challenges: keeping the networking, connecting group, staying motivated and wanting to continue to come when they are not able to actually conduct any business.
So I'm sorry, say it one more time. I cut out on my side.
Oh, sorry. My team building activity that I'm looking for are fun things to do to keep the group motivated in my networking groups.
Okay, motivated in networking groups. Okay, great. Excellent. Okay, I think everybody has now chimed in, and if you want to just hit the chat line, I just want to make sure your chat works. because I'm going to go on to the next session. So thank you so much, everyone, introducing yourself. It's so great. I get people, I've actually had people from Hungary and Slovakia and Ireland and UK. And so that's actually this is the bright spot in my day. It's like, you know, as you can tell, I'm slightly extroverted and a people person. And so I love being able to connect with each of you. And I love being able to connect with around the world. People are calling in 11 p.m., 12 p.m. Because they're hungry. They're hungry for this knowledge. And so I hope each of you are here too. So as we go along with that, so now you've seen Go Ahead Caller, and you can see the difference, right? It can really help. If you've ever been on that call where everybody talks at once and it's just frustrating, this is one way that you can avert that with Go Ahead Caller. You'll see that, you know, it's like the talking stick in a meeting. Your meeting can actually perform faster with this. Now, I was already talking to Ann about the chat room, so let's go make sure that you have the chat button there. And what we're gonna do is, oops, sorry, I'm gonna click 2 buttons here. Okay, what I'm gonna teach you is, as you introduce this environment, especially if you're training others, now introduce the chat window. So I call this back channel chat, right? This is, the back channel says that if you have a presenter, like yourself or whoever, who's talking a lot, and you need to be able to do this, right? I show them the chat window and I encourage them to use it when others are speaking. So, right, so I can tell you that if you ever see me hop into somebody else's online meeting, I will blow up the chat room. I'm gonna figure out if anybody is watching, and quite often, I end up finding the people who I really wanna meet, not the speaker. I find somebody else who has like ideas or thinks like me or is interesting through the chat room, right? And so good, thank you, Ann, and Jay's in the chat room. So I think it does 2 things. It helps extroverts, they get the ideas out, and they get the ideas without interrupting the group, right? And it also can help introverts. And so the introverts get the ideas after listening, right? And so you can get creativity and engagement in the chat room. So in the chat room, oh yeah, wait, not this one. In the chat room, we're gonna do this. Go to the chat room, and I would like you to chat, so we're gonna do some chat networking. If you can, chat your LinkedIn profile or your company's URL. So yeah, if you have Kevin says, if you have a lot of people, yeah, it's good to have a moderator that can relay questions or thought and just do air traffic control, even if they're not the primary speaker. I can tell you now, I have actually been paid twice, Kevin, to be a Zoom moderator. People have figured out I'm pretty good at this. So anyways, so here I'm chatting my LinkedIn profile. You feel free to click on that. If you want to be friends, I'll friend you. I like people. So yeah, these are all the useful things that you can do. So we're waiting for everyone else. There's one from Ben. See, I know that Ann can chat. Let's see, Ann chatted, and who else? Steve and Marianne. Steve, Marianne, Ben, Ann, and Jean. Ted and Kevin. Kevin. Where are you, Kevin? There you are, Kevin. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Jay. And Jay, of course, Jay has been chatting away. Thank you, Jay. Okay, great. Now we have everybody on this. Now we know that chat works. So now I'm going to give you your first team building assignment. Here we go. So this is a great example of all the things I'm telling you: goals, rules, rhythm, and results. You guys, there's the team building assignment. I'm going to ask you to chat from A to Z. It's going to be 1 letter at a time. Okay, so it means that Ben can't chat A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, you know, and try and hit return. He's a performance person. I know he would try that. But you can only chat 1 letter at a time. If Ben goes, Ben can't go again. So Jay or Jean or Kevin or somebody else has to go. You have to restart if you missed a letter. So if you go A, B, D, you got to start over. If you repeat a letter, if you go A, B, C, D, D, you got to start over. While you're chatting from A to Z, you can't talk. But if you missed a letter or repeated a letter, You can talk until someone chats A to start again. Those are the rules. First off, does anybody have any questions? You can unmute your mic. You can hit me in the chat window. So Ben, that's not a question to me, so I'll leave that to you. So if everybody understands, then whenever you hit A, we will begin. Steve hits A. Then B. Marianne B's. Marianne is laughing. I have to do some audio commentary for the people watching on Facebook. Kevin says C, but Kevin, you got to remember, you got to restart because BB is a repeated letter. Ted says A. Gene says V. Oh, Gene's like, oh, B, whoops. Okay, Ben says A, Steve says B, Ann says C. Marianne and Kevin both say D. Must start over. And Gene and Ann say A. And Steve says A too. I feel like the Fonz. A, right? And I guess all the kids do it now too. They say A. Steve says A, B. Ben says B. Kevin says C. Ted says D. Ann says E. Gene F. Steve F. Wah wah. Kevin A. Steve B. and C. Gene A. Ben B. Steve B. Kevin D. Ben A. That sounds like a Elton John song. Ben A. Ben A. Ben A and the Jets. Kevin B. Ann A. Oh no, Ann C. Steve D. Ben E. Ann F. Gene G. Kevin H. Ted I. Ann J. Steve K. K. Oh, Steve and Ben K. K. It's not okay. Ann A. Ben B. Steve C. Kevin D. Ann E. Gene F. Ted G. Ann H. Kevin H. All right, let's take a minute here. I'm going to reshare my screen here for a second, and you guys should unmute your mics. What's the here?
Yeah,
before
we can talk between, right?
that there we go.
Yeah.
So
maybe
Marianne
we can.
has yes. Go ahead, Marianne.
Maybe we can like think of a way to do it. Like, I don't know. Like we can give each other a number and we go by this number. Maybe. I don't know.
Or go
Are
by
you-
windows, go by cams.
And sidebar. Hello, Isabel. Thank you for joining us.
I like the numbers. Everybody gets a number.
Go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be 1.
2,
Okay.
Who's the 2?
3.
Can we just do it alphabetically?
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
A.
So first name alphabetically?
Yeah, first name alphabetically. There's not like, I don't think we have any doubles here.
We have Gene and Jay.
So,
So just Jay would go before Gene.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So the order would be Ann, Ben, Kevin, Jay, Gene, Marianne, and me and Ted.
Okay, so we're ready to start again.
Did you forget Steve?
Yeah, I was before Ben.
Okay, we're trying, guys. Go.
Wait, who's, say one more time, go through the list one more time.
So it's alphabetical. So you would Ann would be first.
Yep.
Then you.
Yep.
Then Kevin.
Yep.
Then Jay. Then Gene. Then Marianne. Then me. And then Ted.
Love it. Cool. This is back to the top. Let's do it.
All right.
Are we muting? We're muting now? Yeah.
All right.
Ann A. Again, no talking. Reminder. Ben B. Kevin C. JD. Jeannie. Mariana. Steve G. Ted H. And I. Ben J. Kevin K. JL. Jean M. Marianne N. Steve O. Ted P. Ann Q. Ben R. Kevin S. JT. Jean U. Marianne V. Steve W. Ted X. Ann Y. Ben Z. All right, congratulations, very good. Why don't you unmute? And my question really is, what was that like for you?
I
Yeah.
love it. I love
You
it.
loved it. What'd you love, Ben?
Marianne stepping up and coming in there and just kind of giving us a just laying out the rules. Like, hey, didn't you say we can talk? Right? like take a step back. Let's not overthink this one.
So Marianne, this is a perfect example, right? Where you actually somewhat disadvantaged because English is not your first language, but you became a leader, right? And so what did
shy.
how did you remember the rule to talk?
Well, I remember it and I was like, well, nobody seems to remember it. Maybe I didn't understand it well, but I wasn't sure. And when you talked, I was like, okay, yeah, I think I'm right. So I'm going to step in, but it's hard.
If you haven't read the book Lean In, right, that she leaned in. Do you see that? She was not sure because this is not her forte, right? But she leaned in, she took a risk, and that and it paid off. And that's really something I want to do. A side note around this here too is now, one of the things that I do that is very hard to show you is online. I'm helping to create psychological safety. Marianne feels safe enough to contribute to this group because she could have let y'all ABC'd yourself to death, okay? But she didn't, and because she felt, again, safe enough to share even if she could have been wrong. So anybody else with other observations about what they experienced or what they learned? Let's go to Jay.
Well, I just had to keep my mouth shut because I've done this one. So it was very hard for me to keep my mouth shut.
And how'd you do it? So listen, you actually have somebody in the group who has a priori knowledge. Could you have used that?
Sure.
Did I ever give you a rule like, if you did this, sit out? I actually didn't.
No, but I chose not to do that because I think there was a learning from this, and I didn't want anybody else to have the lose the opportunity to learn from it.
Well, yes, Jay, and I'm going to give this one other piece here, which is, right, I teach teams around the world, 23 years, 2,100 companies, and the number one thing I have to teach groups is to ask questions. If you ask questions, right, you remember how many questions you asked when I gave you all the rules and I said, hey, does anybody have any questions? It's like, nope, I got this, right? We're fine. Anytime you can ask questions with a group, if I can create the safety, if you as a leader can create the safety in your group to ask questions, then you can unveil new information that can very possibly change the outcome. Isabel, do you have a comment? You joined in late here. I'm kind of curious about what you're thinking. Like, what happened? Where did I go? Oh, Isabel, are you on audio? Okay, well, let's see. Maybe Isabel will jump in here. Isabel, if you're on chat, let me know. Anybody else? So what did you learn? And of course, more importantly, what would you do different with your teams based upon this experience?
Maybe ask if somebody had a suggestion on how to interpret your rules, or an idea on how to interpret your rules.
Yeah, Jay, even if you don't have a question, just restate the rules saying, hey, John, let me repeat the rules so I think I understand them. That alone can sometimes clarify something. And you saying it again may mean that somebody else gets another idea from it. Like they misunderstood. We actually had one of these and somebody was like, she goes, oh, wait, I'm sorry. Wait, I apologize. I had my kids screaming over here. I got 3 text messages and I got something else. I really have no idea what we're doing. So they had the team had to catch her back up. Right? And it was okay. It was just, it's reality. That's just what's going on. Anybody else? What would you do differently based upon this experience? What did you learn? I want Ted's because I love TEDx.
I should have asked questions. I should have asked if somebody had done this before because it sounds like something's been done a bunch of times. And there was this Minnesota governor who said, win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. So I should have cheated somehow.
I like you, Ted. You got to hang out more because this cheating is not cheating. Cheating to me is this out of the box thinking, right? The cheating, as long as Sarbanes-Oxley, you can't break that, right? Yeah. Right now, don't cough on somebody, right? That's don't break those rules. But, right? We teach whole sections on what I call the hard rules. I give you 4 or 5 hard rules you can't break. And then there's the soft rules. These are the ones you invent in your head that make working with your team difficult. Get rid of those. Right? Get rid of them now because those are the barriers, right? I can't teach people Zoom. Well, Zoom has got 42 million trainers, and if not, now you got a friend who knows how to do it. So I'm just saying, get over whatever barrier it is with your team, and that's how you're going to win. I just want to highlight a couple of pieces. Marianne, superb job recognizing the order. Ben jumped in and supported it. Ted, you were the first one to say first name alphabetical, and Steve, when you repeated the order and you did it twice, that gave the clarity for your team. And I'm going to show you now the results of that, okay? Let's see. Oh, I have to actually bring up a different spreadsheet for that too. So give me a second to open. Oh, geez, come on, where is it? I'll open this here in just a second. So I'm going to give you some results. But while I do that, I think this is the greatest example of rhythm that you could get. When your team is not in rhythm, they don't perform, okay? That's just the reality of it. hold on, let's see if I can get this here. Hopefully this will give me my right info. Okay, so when you don't have rhythm, right, your team is going to stumble and start, and you're going to waste a lot of time. But when your team does have rhythm, right, this is how you can see these results. This is a Japanese drill team that's very famous, got like a 9 million YouTube views. And look at the amazingness. Visually, you can even see it here. When a team is rhythm, teams perform. And so let me give you some very easy ideas about how you can create rhythm in your teams back home. Number one, start and end each meeting the same. Again, start and end each meeting the same. You can see I built a rhythm myself to make this class very popular. And every day, Monday through Friday, except Wednesday, I teach a class from 12 to 1. And on Wednesday, from 12 to 1:30, I teach the Virtual Team Building 2 class. And by the way, because you completed 1, you're going to get an invite to number 2. I teach between 10 and 15 of these team building initiatives in 90 minutes, and it is a blast. And I can only do that because I have rhythm with the group. I've already spent this 60 minutes teaching you what my system and my rules are about. And with that rhythm, it allows me to go very fast. And I was very excited to see that. So find a rhythm for sharing and solving information with your team. So whether it's screen sharing or handing it off to somebody or whatever it is, find a new rhythm. The next is bring your culture online. I bet Ben's got some incredible performance-based culture. It might be sayings, it might be quotes, it might be, you know, certain people have mascots. Bring these online, bring your culture online. And if you don't have the culture to support it, make new culture. That's what I'm telling you about rhythm. Now I'm going to give you a secret here that's behind the scenes. And here's the secret that I have. I've been creating a participation map. This is how I know whether you've been participating or not. This is a real piece of secret here to create engagement, right? I know whether or not you have participated. I know whether or not your chat is working, right? And so this is a real key piece of creating engagement. And you can also print it as paper. So I have 3 screens here. Okay? And so I'm using every single screen right now, and every place has a location for it. So I'm able to keep this online. But if you don't keep it online, you know, and you're an analog person, just print out your participation sheet, keep it in front of you, and you just make marks like when people talk or write words or keywords, things like that. And it really helps you as the facilitator stay engaged. So like I have the name list here. This is why I can call people like Steve, right? And Ben and Jean. It's because I keep my participation list here, and I can even do this even when the video windows are not open. So a participation map, this is my behind the scenes key for creating engagement. So in the results, let me tell you, you guys completed A to Z in 2 minutes and 14 seconds. So if I haven't taught you, right, virtual applause. So for those who know sign language, this is applause, right? So if you want to do some applause, you can shake your hands above your head. If you can't see it, there you go. Ben, come on, Ben, bitch. There you go. Okay, so that's applause. 2 minutes and 14, I think, puts you in 4th place out of 10. The new record was set by your girl, Ben, Kathy, at 53 seconds, 53.6 seconds. Yeah, you got to ask her how she did it. So the slowest time so far has been 10 minutes and 12 seconds, but that team actually finished it without talking to each other. They never established a system auditorily. I have no idea how they did it, but it took them a long time. I actually had to start singing Jeopardy music during the 10 minutes, even for me to stay engaged. All right, anyways, what I'm talking about with you guys is about creating results. And results about using virtual team building for you is about successful online meetings. It's about the ability to get work done under these really, really challenging and changing conditions. You can help and be a leader. I hope to hear stories for each of you. I'm going to invite you to my Facebook group called Virtual Team Building, and you're going to meet at least 60 or more of people like you who are trying to figure out the best ways to build teams online. And you can ask for ideas, and if you discover a piece of secret, share it with us. We really get a chance to see. One of the godsends that's come out of this is sometimes, you know, you get a silver lining, right? You make lemonade out of lemons. See this book right here? I sent out this mass email about this class saying, hey, come take this virtual team building class. And my publisher saw it. And my publisher came back and he goes, hey, do you want to rewrite that book? And I'm like, Yeah. So I'm going to tell you that I'm going to have a deal. It's not quite signed. I have a verbal yes, so I can tell you that much. But you're going to start looking for pre-sales of a book called Virtual Team Building coming up. And so that's one of the things I was able to do. So anyways, that's a way to lead. And last of all is developing new ways to help. So those are the results that you can make. So let's go back into the retention mode. So the solution I told you was GER. What does the G stand for? You can unmute and just say it.
Results.
Goals, thank you. And whoever said that, not that person, what's the first R for?
Rules.
Rhythm.
Rules, said Ted, I believe. And what's the next R after you have rules?
Rhythm.
Rhythm. And last but not least,
Results.
results. Yeah, look, I have 100% retention after 53 minutes. What a genius I am. So we're talking about results, and I just want to share one result from my hometown here in Seattle. On May 6th, Canlis is a 4-star, 3-generation dining restaurant, and they redesigned their entire business model in a week. They said this: times are changing, and so are we for now. They're shutting down their dining room, and they're going to bring the food out to you. They said, fine dining is not what Seattle needs right now. Instead, this is one idea for safely creating jobs for our employees while serving as much of our city as we can. Hey, we got this, Seattle. My friend knows the Canlis family, and I know the current owners. This was all decided over a dining room table. And this is what true leadership looks like. They created a bagel shed that you can drive and get breakfast. They created a drive-through where you can get burgers for lunch. And now you can call them or online order a home-cooked dinner from a 4-star restaurant and a bottle of wine. All right, you had me at a bottle of wine delivered to your doorstep. Here's the results. Last week, the press came out and they showed this. This is Canlis. They sold out of the bagel shop at 10:06 a.m. They have a line going down Highway 99, Aurora, for people waiting for their food, right? One of our other Seattle entrepreneurs closed 12 of his 13 restaurants. But I just want to show this to you. The companies and the organizations who adapt the fastest, right? They're the ones who's going to survive. And it's about getting your team to adapt. So I just want to give you a little piece of an example of hope. This has been Virtual Team Building. I'm John Chen, the CEO of Geoteaming. If you've got value out of this, please help others. But the one thing I ask you to do is just share this link. It's going to get sent to you in an email, geoteaming.com/virtual team building. And the last exercise I'm going to show you to close today is called the last word. So each person, again, just raise your hand and then just tell me, what'd you get from you invested an hour here today? What did you get? So let's see what people got today. So who would like to go first?
I actually very much enjoyed the team building. I think I might steal that for my next staff meeting. I definitely, like I said earlier when we started, everybody's on different levels of understanding how to use the functions of Zoom, of Teams, and so being able to incorporate both the chat and video and get people used to using chat, it's a good way of forcing some of those people who have struggled with it to utilize it.
Yeah, Steve, introduce one piece at a time, not all of them all at once. And if you come to my virtual team building too, I'll show you how to use quite a few other features of Zoom. And that's what you do, is just bring them along one time and give them success. If you do that, they'll be happy and they'll be more productive. Let's go to Ted, who figured out how to raise his hand.
Ooh, I can raise my hand. All right. What I learned is cheating is a good thing. We should all cheat all the time to make our teams a lot better.
I'm gonna, not normally would I agree with Ted, but I'm serious about this, right? What he means by cheating, at least what I think he means by cheating is, right, think different and think about being effective. Don't let BS get in your way, to be honest, right? And find those things that make performance high. And so hopefully I'm paraphrasing well from you, Ted. And if not, just flat out cheat, right? That's okay. Again, as long as you don't harm anybody, cheat away. All right, who'd like to go next? Let's go to Ben and then Kevin.
Engagement. it was fun to be able to engage with people that I've never met before, pretty quick. So maybe engagement and setting the table. You did a great job setting the table. That was super important for me and everybody to understand. Even again, the language barrier is cool. I've got a workshop that I'm about to do, and there are people from all over the world. And being able to actually engage and set the rules and make sure that the GER is set up is super important. So the engagement piece for me was everything.
Ben, that's a beautiful metaphor. Setting the table. I'm a huge foodie, Ben. I love your city of Portland. You know that.
Yeah.
And setting the table is absolutely right. I used to tell people have no idea what it takes to make the perfect hour. But Ben knows because he's a performance person. You plan a lot. I plan a lot for this time, right? And to make this what it is. And if you want to be great, you got to put in that time. There's no other way. Setting the table. I'm going to use that. Thank you so much, Ben. Who'd like to go next? Oh, Kevin. Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
I was going to say fun. I thought it was very fun, and that made it go very fast.
Fun is engagement, people, right? We're in the edutainment. You're competing against people like freaking the Tiger King. Come on, right? So I gotta, our happy hours have these, what I call Game of Thrones moments, which is our happy hours, which are not recorded and they're not on Zoom. You won't find them anywhere. It creates that psychological safety. And every happy hour I've had since this whole thing dropped down has a Game of Thrones moment. It's like this mic drop moment that someone reveals something. Oh, I almost forgot this piece. I'm dedicating this session. The call I had an hour before we started today was with my good friend Heather Riddick. And I wanted to dedicate today's session to her mother-in-law. Heather was distraught when I got onto the call with her, and she revealed to me that her mother-in-law tested positive. So if each of you can send a little energy out to Heather's mother-in-law, I would appreciate it. I dedicate today's session to her. Thank you, Kevin, for reminding me about that. Who'd like to go next? Go ahead, Marianne.
It's funny because actually tomorrow I have a team meeting with everyone. So I think I'm going to take the time to be sure that everyone understands well Zoom by asking them to put their camera and asking them to write in the chat like you did, just to be sure that that nobody feels like they don't understand it, because I also have people in my team that are not very good with technology and things like that. So thanks a lot.
You're welcome, Marianne, for that. You're going to get this bonus piece, which is tell everyone in your call to get a piece of paper and tell them to write one word that they're either feeling or that they need to beat coronavirus. And so Kathy Armias actually invented this. It's called Just One Word. And my other friend, Brad Cochran, who's a speaker, said print them out, right? And leave them near your computer so that you can make visual comments to each other. Yeah, 5 minutes. Thanks, Jay. I know I'm at 1 o'clock. Okay, so if you do have to go, I understand that you need to go, but I would love to hear from the others before we take off. And I'll stay afterwards if anybody has any questions. Who else would like to go?
I have to say, seeing this the second time, that it's interesting to see that the first group solved the problem of how to do the A through Z differently, but in the end the same, by coming up with a list and going through it that way. I was just surprised when you said someone took them 10 minutes and they didn't say a word and they did it in 10 minutes. That just floored me.
Yeah, the best part is being a facilitator for this. Well, this comes from a theory too. So Ben was talking about engagement and Kevin was talking about fun. This is a very serious topic we have in experiential education. It's called let the inmates run the asylum, right? And so you got to give control back to your users. And when you do that, they're 100% engaged, right? If somebody misses a letter in A to Z, they're not engaged. They're like, I actually thought there was a moment where I thought Ben was scrambling a little bit. They're going, oh my God, I got a call from something else, but someone's waiting for me. I don't know if that was happening, but I was guessing. Oh, he's laughing. So I think that's what is happening. Okay, who else would like to go? Is anybody else not going yet? I think I got everybody, right? Isabel, let's see, let's check one more time. Isabel, you're on the mic. Oh, Jean, of course, hasn't gone. I've been tracking this. Okay, Jean, what do you have to contribute? What did you learn from today?
I just wanted to say I really like the graphics too. I don't know if that was just plain PowerPoint or something a little fancier, but the little moving images, that was kind of a nice break and give you a minute to reinforce your points.
You can see I'm alternating sharing screens and not sharing screens. And then I was one of the first to use video in PowerPoint. The video has no audio, but you can see it's repeating and it's trying to give a concept, right? So like that F1 pit stop, that's the concept. You can go and clip your own videos and stick them in your PowerPoint. And you know, that motion, I gotta tell you, is engaging. Even if you think of it's annoying, it catches people's eyes. Video, we're so used to consuming video now, and this is all you got is this screen, right? This frame, make it awesome. So thank you so much for that, Gene. Okay, any other questions? Let's see, I think I got everybody. So most of all, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And let me tell you, when I told the story about my friend Heather and mother-in-law, I felt it here. I got some chills here, and I think that came from you. We're humans. We connect. We want to build our teams, and it needs leaders like you. So again, you're going to get a bunch of resources by email. Thank you so much. I hope to see you at Virtual Team Building 2, and if I don't, make your teams great and share a story. We'll see you guys next time, and if you'd like to stay on, we'll see you there. Bye, everybody.
Hey, to collect to show the text. Is that something that any host can do?
I'm sorry, say again, Jen.
Just show the text up above. You know, when you were speaking, it showed the text of your words.
You want to see how I do that?
Please.
Okay. Okay, here's my PowerPoint, right? You guys can see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And here, watch this, right? My friend showed me this. Okay, so when you go to slideshow, you say always use subtitles, okay? Now, give me a language that is not English that is in this list. Just give me any language.
Dutch.
Is there Mandarin in there?
Yeah, Mandarin. You want Mandarin? Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so Chinese simplified. Okay, watch this. I'm selling prune fruit. Yes, I'm serious. I now have Mandarin or Mandarin translation here. So for those of you who can read Mandarin, ni hao or hello to each of you. Isn't that cray? That's crazy. That is crazy. You can talk to your Alexa in Spanish. I mean, the translation abilities of technology is whack, and that's one of them. Isn't that cool?
Very cool.
But is that only for the leader?
It's for whatever the computer can hear. That's why it doesn't translate you, because I'm not piping my mic into the computer. I'm not pumping my speakers through the computer, but it could.
But could you do it in a group situation like there were all of us today and say you're running it and you don't speak Mandarin and you want everybody to be able to communicate in Mandarin? Can you put the speaker on for everybody so they could communicate
so
that way or read?
I don't know, but you could look online, and one of the hacks that you could easily do is if you hook up a second computer and hook up auditory speakers, right? And then set the mic up for that computer there, right? One is you're far enough away so you're not echoing, right? But the second piece is that it's loud enough that you're coming from an external set of speakers that the computer is picking it up and just translating it. Does that make sense?
Generally, I mean, the concept I have to process, but I would think that people would run into that if they're working with multi-languages and want to make sure they connect with somebody.
Well, you can only translate into one language, right? It has to know what language you're coming from and which one you're going to before. So, but I got to tell you a side story, right? One time I had to go fly home from Saudi Arabia, and I flew into Istanbul, and I don't know if you know this, like when we used to fly. Istanbul has 2 major metropolitan airports. And what they didn't tell me was that I flew into one and my flight home took off from the other one. So I had to take a 45-minute cab ride. I'm freaking out in the car here. I'm in a country where I don't really speak the language. And I got in, a taxi where like a bunch of us were screwed like this. We didn't know, right? And so there was at least 12 of us. And so 4 of us banded together and we got into a car, and the guy spoke the native language of Turkey, and there was a woman who was French, and there was somebody else. And so we actually had like 3 phones going on all the translates, and we actually had a conversation. I'm like, oh my God, this is like a Google United Nations call. So Translate is kind of good enough. Like, it still screws up a lot of stuff, but it was allowed us to have a basic conversation, which was It was hilarious. The cab ride went very fast, and I made my plane. So.
How did you connect it to Facebook Live?
Oh, so here, let me see if I can take a screenshot. Hold on. Okay, let's see if that worked. So one of the other arts around there is you can see what I'm doing. You guys are asking me questions I'm not prepared for. And the only way I know how to deal with them is because I'm so fast on a freaking computer, right? It's practice. It's all around practice. Okay, I'm going to share a screen. It's going to look like you. It's going to be kind of confusing. Okay. So here's the graphic. See here on the bottom of the Zoom bar?
Mm-hmm.
You click the More button, and on the More button, as the host, I can choose to stream to Facebook, to YouTube, and then you can also set up a third-party streaming service, which I haven't tried, but I can tell you that Facebook Live sometimes can be very engaging as a second channel. I actually know a woman, Kiki Italian. She streams to 18 different sources simultaneously and then turns that video broadcast into an audio-based podcast every week.
Mm. Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
So we've been teaching the hand signal. So like I showed you applause, right? This is the hand signal for mind blown. So once you teach that to people, then during the session, right, then you can tell people that you can do this if like I taught you something that's mind-blowing or somebody said something that was mind-blowing.
StreamYard is a live stream site that I think will allow you to actually tap to you can go LinkedIn, Facebook, I think Periscope if you use Periscope still, and you can actually drop in links for custom sites as well. So she may be using something similar to that. StreamYard.
Yeah, it's restream.io or something like that. And now I really, like I've talked to her and I've known about this, but I'm pretty sure like she's way ahead of the schedule, right? This is about being prepared. She had no idea how prepared she was being, but now, now people want her knowledge. And it's not easy. So she knows that there's stuff that happens all the time about getting 18 streams to start. It's not easy, but when it works, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
John, you had mentioned about you were going to send us some further materials. Would it happen to also include the rules for that game that you had us engage in?
No, but I'm more than happy to put them in the chat because they're easy, and if you want it in PowerPoint format, it's not that hard, but you just want A to Z, right?
Yeah, that'd be, for me, yeah, that'd be great.
Me too.
So here, it's coming in the chat.
All right.
And if you want to support the cause, if you want to support the cause, you'll get it in your link too. But this book, 50 Digital Team Building Games, does contain this link. And so that is /bit.ly/50 Digital Team Building Games, Amazon. And you can buy that book and buy it in digital format and get it now instead of waiting Amazon's 30 days while they ship out PPE gear. Jay, you had a question?
Oh, I was just going to ask you, just a second here. Lost my train of thought. Sorry, I was just doing this. Oh, I know. How do you, like you put it in the group chat and then we close this, how do we have access to that after it's closed?
Oh, shoot. I just gave this to Jane too. Okay, one of the side notes is when somebody chats you personally, it defaults to them, right? And so now,
there we go. Okay.
You right now can click the file button and download the entire chat as a file. And on my side, when I record, right, it shoves it all into a chat file, a text file, and it's actually chatted by time. It's actually cool now. I can actually determine the time of A through Z using the chat log by subtracting start and end time. But I send you a link to that. So again, I was actually telling Anne before she left, if you're not using some kind of online file service, you're dancing with the devil. And what I mean by that is I have the ability now, like my computer blue screen, and with confidence, I know that I didn't lose any data. Everything's running autosave. Everything is on a OneDrive. So when it saves to my computer, it also saves to the OneDrive. I literally had a laptop that got ran over by a car. And I bought a new laptop and connected these pieces. I got my email from Exchange and all my files from a OneDrive. I had to install a few programs, but otherwise I did not lose a dot of data. And if you are not doing that, you need to learn how to do that now. Hashtag smile. Hashtag, I don't care. It's your data, not mine. Okay. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
so the piece about that is too, is what mine saves to a directory that is connected to OneDrive. And I go to lunch after this. So it starts streaming up while I'm at lunch automatically. I don't have to do anything, right? And so after lunch, I'm able to right click and say share and send you the file, which sometimes is anywhere from half a gig to a gig. And you have access to it. So cool tricks.
What was the book? What was the book again?
The book is 50 Digital Team Building Games. Put it in the chat. Digital Team Building Games by Chen. I've sold 12,000 copies, which is not bad, but my publisher is like, 12,000. I found out my publisher is John Wiley and Sons, and Patrick Lencioni, who does the 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. That guy sells 7 million books.
That's a good book, though.
I know, Ben, but come on.
That's a good book.
That is a really good book.
Yeah.
That's right. I you know what? Funny. I asked him. This is now between. I better stop recording. Hold on. Okay, I can start recording again. So, anyways, yeah, I'm actually trying to say by the way, if you have big audiences and you want to get an initiative in here and you invent something, let me know. Kathy's going to get credit in my book. My friend Jimbo is going to get credit in this book, right? I'm collecting the best of what's going on, but I also feel very strongly about sharing with my network of friends. And we're actually trying to do a partnership deal, like co-writing with the Microsoft Teams evangelist. How cool would that be, right?
I'm all in.
I'm all in. That's right. Zoom, everything else.
Okay. Sweet.
Cool. Any other questions?
So do I send you my email address just because I want to make sure I'm around for that next course?
No, just wait, Ben. I already have. Oh, wait a second. Send me an email. Do you have my email address or not?
No, I don't.
I'll put it in the chat window.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure if I have your email address handy, but I know where to get you. If you ever get lost, ask Kathy. But it's in the chat window, and if you send, because I believe you may have not registered, so I'm not in the database here, but I'll put you in, and you'll get a link. Okay.
Yep. Awesome. Love this. Thank you, John.
Ben,
Hey, Ben,
thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you
Ben,
so
I like
much.
your office.
Oh, thank you. This is, like I said, this setup.
No, not you, John.
Oh,
Ben.
Thank you. You know what? I was driving and then I realized I was like, oh no, it's noon. Let me hop on. So I just pulled over and I'm right in front of Whole Foods, so I can go grab lunch now too. So this is perfect.
Booyah, Ben. So yeah, hey, big Trailblazer fan. I got to go to the playoffs last year. We watched the quadruple overtime on a cell phone on a boat.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's all we had, right?
I was right there at half court. I almost jumped into the game because we needed more players. That was probably one of the craziest times of my life. We went to the Western Conference Finals last year, and I remember being there saying to people like, I hope you remember or just relish this moment because this never happens. As a coach, I signed up to be a coach, and I'm very blessed with this opportunity, but you don't sign up to say, oh, I'm going to go win a championship. Like, if it happens, it happens. And it's rare, right? The Golden State Warriors just had a dynasty. Best of luck to them over the next 10 years, right? They have to figure out their life right now. So it was cool. It was a good moment, and I'm happy that I was a part of it. But it was like amazing playoff series. Like every last one of them except for the last one when we got swept.
And I was there. I was there at the losing game.
Yeah, it was.
So if you want to stay, I know you guys might need to go. If you want to stay, Ben, I'm going to tell you one last Trailblazer story, and then I got to head out to you in a sec.
I'm going to head off, though, but thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Steve. Great addition. Hi, Jay. Good to see you, and I'll see you on other online places. We'll see you guys around. So, Ben, here's your last Trailblazer story of the day. So my really good friend had a son, and his son went in for a headache, right? And he was 10 years old, and they suddenly realized the headache is not a headache. He has brain cancer. He's got a brain cancer so rare that only 10 people in the world have ever had it. And so over the course of 18 years, he had 17 brain surgeries. And after one of the brain surgeries, he loved basketball and he loved the Trailblazers. And so he had tickets for the game. And his dad called the office and said, "Hey, we got tickets to the game. Is there any chance that one of the players could come sign my son's ball?" And they go, "Well, why?" And he tells this whole story and he goes, "Oh my God, throw your tickets away. I would give them away to somebody else. Come to the game, right? And we'll take care of you." And he goes, "Okay." So he gets there and he's got like front row seats, right? And then after the front row, a player doesn't come up and talk to him. They walk him and his son into the locker room.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And the locker room, every single player took the time to talk to him personally, including Rasheed. Remember? Rasheed Wallace.
That's crazy.
The most technical fouls in the league, but he said he's completely ADD. But when he sat down, his name is Mark. When he sat down with Mark, he was completely focused for like 10 or 15 minutes, just trying to tell him, keep your head in the game, Mark, stay straight. And so he has this ball that is signed by every Trailblazer. And last year, his cancer doctor team fired him, telling him, "You're cured. You don't need us anymore."
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Holy crap.
Tell your Trailblazers that.
Yeah, I will. I definitely share that story with them.
If they're not playing on the court, they still have a job to do.
No, man. You know what? It's cool. That's what we're gonna reconnect. I've got a lot of cool things that I'm doing, and I'm actually planning to do some live streaming with some professional athletes and have some real cool conversations. And so we'll definitely be in touch on how to like stay engaged on that. Just because I got off the phone with, I don't know if you remember Al Farouk Aminu. He was our starting four guard. Yep. So I just literally right before I got on this call, I said, "Dude, you got to take the Zoom class with me because Kathy really, really enjoys it, and they're starting to do Zoom calls." And I said, the one thing that you guys have the ability to do is still give people hope, just because of who you are and where you are in your life. And so I'm working on some stuff personally to start these conversations pretty much in, what is it, June through November. I'm looking to have one high-level conversation a month. And they're going to be authentic conversations that I have with professional athletes or entertainers, and we'll rap about it. But I want to figure out how to get it out there to the world, and they have a role to play, especially now with nothing happening. Like literally, there's nothing happening. You can't turn on. I mean, you can see the classics, but that was the thing that a lot of people hoped for, and I didn't realize it until I heard the story and just kind of going around town like it's dead. People go to bars to celebrate and to connect and to be in community on watching a game, not just basketball, but just things in general. So, but we'll definitely be in touch on that stuff just because I want to make sure that it's a stellar.
Well, you'll love my housemate's story. He was involved with Russell Wilson and Ciara. They donated 1 million meals here in Seattle.
Wow.
They can do something. They need to be visible. It's a great opportunity. Their Instagram account blew up when they did this. It's through Food Lifeline, the food bank here in Seattle. So
check it out.
if you want to be inspired, let's stay in touch, man. I look forward to seeing you.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate you.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you. We'll see you around.
See you guys.
Cheers. Here, I will move you guys. It's okay. There we go. You good, Jane?
Got it. Thanks.
I'll see you around, okay?
Okay. Take care.
Cheers. Bye. Look at that, Kevin. I'm in control.
Yeah.
Kind of.
That was great, John. That was really great.
Thank you so much.